Welcome back to Midnight Whispers. Don't forget to subscribe, turn off the lights, and let's step into a new story. I woke up to daylight touching the wall and noticed the closet door was open. I knew it had been closed because I always shut it before sleeping. I stayed still to confirm what I was seeing. The door remained open without moving. I sat up and checked the room for signs of entry. Nothing else appeared disturbed. I walked to the closet and closed the door. I tested the latch until it held. I left for work and thought about it during the drive. That night, I placed a coin against the door at the base. I recorded a short video showing the door closed. I went to sleep with the light off. I woke before the alarm the next morning. The coin lay several feet away. The closet door stood open again. I reviewed the video and saw myself closing it. I replaced the coin and added a strip of tape. I also placed my phone on a shelf facing the door. I slept lightly, but did not hear anything. In the morning, the tape was torn. The phone showed the door opening on its own. The opening happened slowly, at the same time each night. I noted the exact minute and wrote it down. I checked the building hallway camera for that time. No one passed my door. I changed the latch with a new one. I slept with the same setup. The next morning, the door was open again. The new latch showed no damage. I contacted building maintenance to inspect it. They found nothing wrong. I asked for the old tenant records. The manager hesitated, but shared a report. The report mentioned repeated complaints about the closet. It listed dates matching my notes. I requested access to the storage space behind the unit. Maintenance unlocked a narrow service cavity. Inside, I saw an extra hinge aligned with my closet. The cavity led to a neighboring unit. That unit was listed as vacant. We entered and found a matching closet wall. A hidden panel connected the two spaces. The panel opened toward my closet. The hinge allowed it to swing inward. Someone could open my door from behind. Police were called to document the finding. They searched the vacant unit thoroughly. They found bedding and food containers. They also found a schedule taped to the wall. The schedule matched the times I wrote down. A former tenant had been living there illegally. He used the cavity to access closets at night. He avoided cameras by moving through service spaces. He was arrested later that week nearby. After repairs, the panel was sealed permanently. My closet door never opened again. I kept the videos and reports as proof. The ending was not unexplained after all. It was planned and methodical, knowing that changed how I sleep forever. After the police finished their report, I stayed in the apartment to document everything myself. I photographed the closet hinges from every angle. I measured the distance the door moved each night. I compared the times with the schedule found in the vacant unit. The pattern matched exactly. I asked the building manager for maintenance logs. The logs showed repeated repairs in the same wall area. Each repair was listed as routine. None mentioned a hidden cavity. I requested blueprints of the building. The original plans showed a sealed service gap. A later renovation removed part of the barrier. That change created access between units. I realized the door opened because someone pulled it from behind. I tested the panel myself with permission. It opened smoothly without noise. From the other side, my bedroom was visible through a narrow gap. The view aligned directly with my bed. I documented that angle with photos. I turned over all files to the police. They confirmed the suspect had keys to multiple vacant units. He had worked briefly as a contractor years earlier. He memorized service paths during that time. He returned later and stayed hidden. He avoided detection by moving only at night. He chose times when residents were asleep. He opened closet doors to confirm occupancy. He left them open as markers. That explained why mine opened repeatedly. I reviewed my videos again with this context. The door movement was consistent with a pull, not pressure. The speed matched a controlled action. There was no mechanical failure. The evidence aligned completely. I asked the police why the door was left open instead of closed again. They explained it was a signal. It told him the unit was still active. It also allowed him to check reactions. I realized my attempts to secure the door increased his interest. The added tape and coin confirmed to him that I noticed. That likely escalated his behavior. The police informed me he never entered occupied rooms. He observed patterns only. That fact did not bring comfort. It confirmed intent. I requested immediate relocation. The building approved it without argument. I packed my belongings under supervision. I avoided the bedroom as much as possible. Before leaving, I checked the closet one last time. The door stayed closed. The panel behind it was sealed with metal. I moved to a different building the same week. changed my routines completely. I reviewed security habits I had ignored. I installed cameras in the new place. I shared my story with close friends only. I did not post it online. I kept all records stored securely. The incident became a documented case. It was no longer just my word. Months later, the trial concluded quietly. The suspect pleaded guilty to trespassing and stalking-related charges. The judge referenced my documentation specifically. The schedule and videos were entered as evidence. The hidden cavity was cited as the primary method. The case never made the news. It was classified as a building security failure. I followed the outcome through court records. I wanted closure based on facts. After the verdict, I revisited the old apartment once. The building had been renovated again. All service gaps were sealed. New inspections were added to the maintenance policy. The manager thanked me for pushing the issue. Other tenants later reported similar past experiences. Their timelines overlapped with mine. My case connected them. I realized how long it had gone unnoticed. The unexpected part was not what opened the door. It was how easily routine hid the cause. There was no mystery left unresolved. The explanation was practical and deliberate. Someone used access and patience. The door was never random. It was checked like a signal. That knowledge changed how I view personal space. I no longer rely on habits alone. I verify physical boundaries. I document irregularities immediately. I learned that fear often grows from lack of information. Once evidence appears, the story becomes clear. The ending was not supernatural. It was human and calculated. That made it harder to forget. I still close my closet door every night. I also check what is behind the walls. The event ended with an arrest, not questions. The door stayed closed after the repairs. The case file remains complete. I keep a copy for myself. The story ends with certainty. What woke me was not imagination. It was a system that failed quietly, and once exposed, it never happened again. After relocating, I reviewed every detail of the case to understand how it unfolded. I created a timeline starting from the first morning. I noticed the door. I matched each incident with building access records. The consistency confirmed the method beyond doubt. I met again with investigators to clarify remaining questions. They explained how common service cavities are misused. I learned that many older buildings share similar flaws. The suspect had exploited that weakness deliberately. He tracked resident schedules carefully. He avoided direct contact to reduce risk. His goal was observation, not confrontation. The open door acted as a silent confirmation. It told him who was present and when. I realized the behavior was systematic. There was nothing impulsive about it. That detail unsettled me more than fear ever did. I requested copies of every report. I organized them in a single folder. I backed them up digitally and physically. Documentation became my sense of control. I also requested counseling through a victim program. The focus was practical recovery. I adjusted my daily routines carefully. I varied arrival and departure times. I informed neighbors in my new building. We shared safety measures openly. I installed reinforced locks throughout the apartment. I tested them regularly. I added motion alerts for internal doors. Each alert logged activity automatically. Weeks passed without incidents. My sleep improved gradually. The absence of events felt earned. I still checked doors before bed. I still documented unusual sounds. Nothing repeated the pattern. I accepted that the case was closed. The explanation remained clear and grounded. No unanswered elements lingered. The clarity itself became the ending. I learned how easily access can be hidden. I learned how observation can masquerade as chance. I learned that habits can be used against you. The experience reshaped how I evaluate safety. I no longer assume privacy is guaranteed. I verify it through structure and evidence. The lesson stayed with me daily. The door was never the problem alone. The space behind it mattered more. That realization changed how I see walls. I now understand that security is physical. It depends on design and oversight. When those fail, patterns emerge quietly. My story became an example used by management. Procedures were updated because of it. That outcome gave purpose to the experience. Time created distance, but the memory stayed precise. I could still recall the exact angle of the door. I remembered the time stamps clearly. I remembered how routine hid the activity. I followed building safety news afterward. Similar cases appeared in other cities. Many involved shared maintenance paths. Few were reported quickly. Documentation often made the difference. I spoke once at a tenant safety meeting. I focused only on facts. I explained how to identify access points. I described how to document patterns. I avoided emotional language intentionally. The response was serious and attentive. Several attendees checked their buildings later. One found an unsecured panel. That panel was sealed the same week. The chain of events continued beyond me. My role shifted from victim to reference. I did not share my name publicly. I shared the method and outcome. The unexpected ending was accountability. The situation resolved through exposure and repair. There was no mystery left open. The cause was identified and removed. The behavior stopped completely. The door never opened again because access no longer existed. That finality mattered. I regained control through verification. I learned that observation can protect as much as it endangers. The experience reinforced practical awareness. I no longer ignore small irregularities. I address them immediately. The story concludes with a clear result. An arrest occurred. Structural changes followed. Policies were revised. Residents were informed. The risk was eliminated. What woke me that first morning was not chance. It was a person using structure. Once the structure changed, the behavior ended. The lesson was direct and complete. Safety depends on visibility and maintenance. When hidden spaces are exposed, misuse stops. My closet door remains closed now. More importantly, nothing exists behind it. The ending was unexpected but definite. The solution was not fear. It was investigation and repair. That is where the story ends. Years have passed since the incident, but the process it taught me remains active. I still approach new living spaces differently than before. I ask for building plans whenever possible. I request information about renovations and sealed areas. I inspect closets, vents, and maintenance panels personally. I document layouts as soon as I move in. I test locks and hinges within the first week. I log any irregular sound or movement. Most entries remain empty. That is how I know the system works. I no longer depend on routine alone. I depend on verification. Friends sometimes say I am overly careful. I do not argue with them. Caution does not require agreement. The case is now closed in every official sense. The individual responsible completed sentencing. The building changed ownership. New safety inspections became mandatory. My experience is archived as a reference report. It is used during staff training. I never intended for that outcome. It happened because documentation existed. The closet door was only a symptom. The cause was access without oversight. Once access was removed, the behavior ended permanently. There were no repeats. There were no copy incidents linked to my case. That finality matters. It confirms the explanation fully. I sometimes think about how easily it could have been ignored. If I had dismissed the first morning, the pattern would have continued. The open door would have become normal. That thought stays with me. It reminds me that patterns deserve attention. The story does not end with fear. It ends with correction. It ends with systems repaired. It ends with responsibility assigned. The unexpected part was how ordinary the cause was. There was no mystery beyond structure and opportunity. Once seen clearly, it stopped. My sleep returned to normal gradually. The room no longer defined my nights. I close my closet door now without hesitation. I know exactly what stands behind it. There is nothing hidden. That certainty is the real ending. The event became a lesson in observation. It became proof that small details matter. The door opening was a warning, not a threat. I recognized it in time. The response changed everything. That is why the story matters. It is complete